somebody who will be taking a holistic look at this particular matter legally now is no other than Dare Oloyede. He's a lawyer and political affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm sure you must have gone through the various parts of this contractual agreement between Ogun State and this Chinese company. And from what you have read so far, legally speaking now, where did things go wrong between Ogun State and this Chinese firm?
Well, thank you very much. Now, I've had quite a lot of funny comments from Nigerians, even senior members of the bar, talking about, sentimentally, approaching the issue at hand and saying all sorts of things that, look, the thing will be set aside and all that. This is an international agreement. In international agreements, there are standard clauses. One of the main clauses of such agreements are the ones we call arbitration clauses. Now, the arbitral award did not just drop out of heaven, out of the skies. It came about as a result of an understanding between the Ogun State government and this Chinese company. Now, secondly, when you have such international agreements, there are usually clauses that talk about sovereign guarantees. That is, when they are dealing with a subnational within a nation, Ogun State is the subnational now. Usually, the federal government is a guarantor. And that's why there are times when the federal government refuses to guarantee the repayment of the loan, or the foreign company will just walk away. Because they know that when the chips are down, it is easier to attach what belongs to the federation outside the shores of Nigeria than what belongs to a state. It's most unlikely that the state government will have anything outside
the country. So
they usually insist on guarantees. If you remember, there was this talk about 16 billion money stolen about improving the electricity supply in Nigeria. You know, when Obasanjo left and Yar'Adua decided to hold all further matters in respect of that, there is also what you call penalty clauses. Now, these penalty clauses allows you, where there's a default, particularly on the part of Ogun State, for instance, there are penalty clauses that says you may even have to pay more than the contract sum at the end of it all. This is to discourage impunity. Now, you know that in Nigeria, impunity is the order of the day, especially when you are dealing with government. That's why it's in Nigeria that they coined what they call executive lawlessness. So, first of all, Nigerians must live with the fact that the agreement was watertight. Secondly, there is no hanky-panky. It is not a Nigerian court that gave this award, issued the award. It went before a former president, like a Chief Justice of the highest court in England. He was the arbitrator, the sole arbitrator. It was an ad hoc arbitration. Parties agreed to the appointment of this person to handle the arbitration between us. Ogun State was put on notice. Yes, for the purpose of the arbitration, the federal government might not be a party. But there is no gainsaying the fact that at every point in time, when they constituted the arbitration, the notice of dispute would have been given to Ogun State. The question we should ask ourselves is, what did Ogun State do about the notice of dispute? Did they attend? Was Ogun State properly represented? If they were properly represented, what kind of presentation did they give? Now, the Chinese people, what I read about the case is that, look, we entered into an agreement to manage the free trade zone on behalf of Ogun State. Now, we did what we should do. Then Ogun State said, well, the former governor, who actually repudiated the agreement, said, oh, it was a fake company. It was a fake. That is his answer. And we need to probe our leaders when they make comments like stark raving illiterate. I'm sorry to use that expression, like illiterates. Let me remove the stark raving. We need to ask ourselves, are these the best we can have? You entered into an agreement, and the Chinese people in their comments said, oh, we were arrested, we were detained, we were given papers to sign. Yeah. They mentioned the name of the secretary to the state government as the one who induced the police to arrest us, detain us. They wanted to force us to do what we would not do. And I refused to sign. We refused to make statements and all that. Because probably they know, well, I'm white, they can't kill me here. What happened to those people happens on a day-to-day basis to Nigerians. Nobody talks about them. It's because they have a country that will stand by their citizens every time. It's because they have a country that believes in rule of law. So looking at it holistically, I am not preempting what the outcome will be. An award has been granted. There are procedures for setting aside an award. This doesn't look like a PDID matter to me.
But does the federal government stand any chance of becoming the victor in this particular case?
Well, you see, the case of the federal government is, look, we are not...
Because Ogun State is a subnational in Nigeria.
Yes. The case of the federal government seems to be what I can, gather from what they are saying, because there has really been no official statement from the appropriate quarters. The Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister for Aviation. These are the kind of people that I will listen to them. And the Aviation Minister is a lawyer too, a senior advocate. If I hear them on this matter, I will say, oh yes. But the case seems to be, oh, we are not parties to the agreement, it was not our contract. No. The question is, did you guarantee that Ogun State government will pay? Once you give a guarantee, they can attach your assets. And then the other defense is, oh, no, there is immunity. Because it's the aeroplane, the aircrafts are talking about, they enjoy immunity because they are used for consular and all those activities. But you see, the question is, there have been decisions on matters like that, whether indeed the aeroplane is attached to your diplomatic mission in the country where it was arrested. Does it have anything to do with your diplomatic mission?
That's where I'm coming in, because I find it very annoying that some of these companies that come to do business in Nigeria find back doors of milking Nigerians. We still have a very fresh case with us, the PI&D in the UK. Remember, the courts in the UK granted their prayers, and after the federal government waded into it, got new lawyers, that case was rescinded.
You want me to, now I come in here. You see, when you say foreigners get back doors to exploit us.
Just a second,
yes.
Let me just land with that thought of mine. So we still have the PI&D. We have this particular one. I'm sure you know about the back and forth we have between Patutomi, who says Amosun should be accused of contract violation. Yeah. You have Amosun also putting out contract that this is between two companies from China, and they don't know exactly, the battle became fierce. It may just be his own narrative, but it was the governor at that particular point in time and eventually canceled the contract. He said they also got letters from the Chinese government that said, look, the person you eventually cited is not the right person, but it's this other person, so their contracts were withdrawn.
Sadly, his argument is in the court of public opinion. It doesn't count for anything. It is not politics. You don't come out and bamboozle Nigerians.
So what do you also say to the fact that, look, there was supposed to be a mediation, an arbitration, which is subject to an agreement between two parties, and not necessarily having, and it's that based on that agreement that you go to court to validate the agreement you've reached.
No, that's not how arbitration works. I'm an arbitrator. I'm a chartered arbitrator.
Okay, help me.
You see, arbitration and mediation, they are subsets of what we call alternative dispute resolution.
Yes.
So you can either decide that, you see, basically, whether mediation or arbitration, what you are saying is, look, we are entering into this agreement. We don't want court, we don't want litigation because it takes time, it's more expensive and all that. That's why parties opt for arbitration. Most Nigerians are going that way too now because they see that a case, you do a land case for 25, 30 years. Even the ones of 60, 70 years, we are still fighting. So litigation does not really end litigation. So because of that, people go for either mediation or arbitration. Mediation is a subset. It simply means parties are allowed to negotiate. You begin to talk without the involvement of lawyers. You say, okay, I'm considering this, I'm considering that. It takes some time. But usually, the parties are the ones who make concessions. Now, arbitration is closer to litigation because there is somebody who presides, who sits as a judge. Unlike mediation where the parties, there is somebody who is moderating, but he's not going to force you to do anything. Now, Arbitration is an informal kind of litigation. The rules are relaxed. Rules of evidence, instead of court, all those things, objection, my lord, those things are not there usually. But, I mean, you can even tell the arbitrator, we don't want to talk, we don't want to give evidence. Just look at our documents and give an award. You understand? So now, in the agreement, it will be reducing the argument to absurdity for us to say that they took an arbitration ad hoc to the UK. In the agreement, the seat of arbitration would have been agreed to be UK. So it's not
between
that,
the parties.
Yes, it's in there. It will be UK. So if you stupidly agreed that your arbitration, that's what some of us Nigerian arbitrators have been saying. The juiciest arbitration matters in Nigeria, they take them to UK, Hong Kong, Shanghai. Why? Even Nigerian lawyers draft that. Why? Because when the dispute arises, they get more money. They are paid in dollars. And then we then take our dispute, Nigerian dispute, over Nigerian oil, for instance. We take it to the UK. They bill us in pounds and dollars. Then we hire Queen's Counsel with all the books we have read as lawyers and as arbitrators, as intelligent as we are, as much as we are acknowledged to be the most brilliant people on earth. We sign off. Our lawyers, everybody, we sign everything and say, oh, we are going to London. Some people will tell you that, I enjoyed that arbitration because, they paid for my hotel. It's just their woof. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's not begin to, mollycoddle, begin to pat Ogun State government. I'm from Ogun State. Let's not begin to pat them on the back for being stupid.
Or are we being unnecessarily emotional?
I'm not emotional about
something that was boldly written.
It is my terrain. I know this job. And I'm telling you that if they signed you can't tell me that they took it to an arbitrator in the UK, a retired Chief Justice, and he didn't look at all, because an arbitrator, the moment it gets to you and you see a reason why you don't have jurisdiction, you answer off.
Okay.
You say, I'm not doing it. So I take it for granted that, the minimum standard for an arbitrator, the man who handed down the award knows it. So it's all the requirements were satisfied. Ogun State government, then somebody comes to tell me that, it's a dispute between two Chinese companies. That is stupid. It cannot be between two companies.
Okay.
You went before an arbitrator, for Christ's sake. It's not between two companies. The two companies, yes, they wrote letters. Did you make all these presentations before the arbitrator, before they gave the award? Why are you telling me now? What have I got to do with Utomi? Utomi, you now say, Utomi he was selfish. He's that. What kind of sentimental approach to serious
So it is an international, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's international.
It is an international embarrassment for Nigeria, and of course, washing our dirty linen in the public. For an administration that is struggling day and night to attract investors into this country, what kind of signal are we sending in terms of perception and our seriousness to deal with people when it comes to Naira and Kobo openly?
You are asking a very rhetorical question, because you know the answer. You know that in the Committee of Nations, nobody takes us as a serious entity. Not anymore. The things we do, and we have the capacity, we have the personnel to take on the best in the world and overcome. In terms of agreement drafting, everything, we are good. But you see, everything is reduced to the level of personality clashes amongst these politicians. Now, truth be told, this is just one of the many problems that came about as a result of impunity, as a result of political grandstanding, saying that, everything my predecessor did was bad, it was corrupt, and just saying, I don't want it, it must not progress. This is not the only one. What of the Dangote matter? We all heard how it panned out. There were allegations that it was meant to be cited in Ogun State, and Lagos State just took advantage of it. Because somebody felt, no, I'm not going to do it that way. That's one. There are so many other things. Land issues, where, the one you told me raised, is something that is in public domain. Something that look, Ogun State should be supplying electricity somewhere to Lagos State, to many states now. If a deal that was already on the table a few months before a governor left, a former governor left, was adopted by the incoming governor, But because of personality issues.
Who is the incoming governor?
I don't want to name names. I'm a lawyer too. We have to be careful.
Yeah.
But they know themselves.
Okay,
The facts
the
are very clear. When the then incoming, you understand? So, I mean, because of personality clashes, the thing was jettisoned. A lot of things like that. Look at people talk about, $16 billion was stolen before Obasanjo left. Now, Obasanjo packaged Yaradua. He packaged him and brought him in. And then Yaradua came in. At that point, some people said, no, don't go ahead with this, hold on. In respect of our international agreement, where there are penalty clauses, and we paid penalties eventually, and they said we will investigate. And the investigators said $16 billion. Former President Obasanjo is still working free. No allegation has been established. No electricity supply, no improvement till today.
And yet we're saying that most leaders are selfish.
Yes.
They're self-centered.
Now, the man that he packaged and put there, he put a stop to everything. And after he put a stop to it, where are we today? Yet we paid penalties. They went, a big banker went, he went to check to see that the turbines have been made and all that. But you see, in international agreements, time is of essence. When they say 2 years, there are timelines. Once you breach it, you are in trouble. Mm-hmm. In Nigeria, you can do that. You can sign an agreement, especially government and individuals. Government can sign an agreement and they will remove the back of the presentation you made and give the contract to somebody and put his name. And then you go to court and it will take 16 years of your lifetime. And then you just walk away, humbled. Those things happen. We get away locally, domestically.
And particularly about the perception now, internationally.
Yeah, this perception is horrible. No doubt about it. It's not just that we are losing. It's not, look at attaching 3 planes. The one that we want to sell and the one that we want to buy, which we have now bought, which is now flying. We don't even know how the money to pay for it came about. A lot of things going on.
I am looking at the security implication, especially when private entities of subnationals or of some countries find it very easy to milk Nigerians. And I can tell you sometimes it's also not devoid of the coalition of cooperation of some internal forces that says, look, do you know how best to do about this? This is the way to go. Also, because these companies too, they know about the situation in Nigeria before they came to do business here, and they also know about how to walk Nigeria to get this kind of buying. They also know. We wouldn't have said anything not until when 3 presidential jets was involved. Nobody knew about anything until we suddenly presidential jets 3. And so this is my own question, and it's about national security. When we have dealings with international organizations, like there's a reason why those presidential jets were there. Apart from the fact that we don't have any working condition hangar in Nigeria where we can help or refurbish or service our aircraft. We go abroad. And these are agreements with other international companies to do this. And you have a situation where we can't go abroad very soon. Maybe it is human beings. Just say because you have 50 of your nationals. I'm just saying because 50 of your nationals are here. So just
I would say that anybody from the state should not go to China.
I don't feel safe anymore.
No, because so how do you feel? How do we? Because I feel that when it's that easy for you to attach the sovereign
presidential
jets to a subnational, you can't deal. Ogun State has so many assets that can be confiscated to pay for the $74 million or more to do this. Yeah. So why is Nigeria that easy to just pick up on anything and just say maybe it's our oil vessel next time? They just say just the national asset. How does this affect our security as a nation?
Well, I remember my international law class in Ife. The most basic principle of international law is what it's captured in this expression: pacta sunt servanda.
What does that mean?
Agreements are always binding. You understand? nobody is above the law. In Nigeria, there are some people above the law. In international circles, nobody is above the law. In some countries, nobody is above the law. Can you imagine a former president being convicted of 34 felony offenses?
But he's still walking free.
Some
people say if they are not Nigeria, the sentencing is...
It will come. It will come. But you can't... Even a former senator, how many of them have been jailed here? So what I'm saying is, in international circles, agreements are binding. I've said it on this program before that the first time I went to the UK for training as an arbitrator, maritime arbitration, we sat down there and they were saying all these things about arbitration. So they awarded 80 million, the person just paid. You know, once an award is against you, you just pay. There were Nigerian lawyers, but I was the youngest then. So I told the white man, I said, look, the way you say these things, it looks so simple, like once they say I'm owing, I must pay. But look, my seniors are here, and they come from a very big law firm. And their law firm, they know that arbitration in Nigeria does not mean I will pay, even after I lose. I will then, the litigation that we're avoiding, we then go to High Court, Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court. So it will still be like litigation. The white man said, he looked at me and said, no, that's not possible. I said, but that's what we do in Nigeria. Arbitration does not end everything. And I told them, please tell this, you look older than me, just tell them. And those ones laughed, they said, yes, that's true. And the white man said, that's not possible. That here, it's about, you know, the perception that you talked about, integrity, business integrity, that when you go to arbitration, because both parties agree that we don't want to go to court. When we have issues, we settle it with arbitration. It means whatever award is handed down, the losing party must pay. You don't contest it. Except, of course, if you are challenging on the basis of misconduct of the arbitrator. Misconduct is a fraud. Maybe the arbitrator, both of you are disputing, and he's my friend. We were in school together. The arbitration can still go on, but I must tell both of you that, look, he's my friend, though we grew up together. Do you still trust me? If you say I should go on, I'll go on. Those are the kind of things we do in arbitration. So, without misconduct, when the facts are not in dispute. It is only misconduct that you take to the higher court to challenge it. So, the man eventually, when we told him that in Nigeria this is what we do, he said, you guys are not doing arbitration. And that's the reason why they say seat of arbitration is here. They will appoint the white man as arbitrator because we don't trust ourselves. Everything we touch turns to dust, not gold.
So why is it
you've not answered the security part. So and that is, look, Nigeria.
That's security.
We deal with other nations, even if they don't really like us. They still deal with us. We still take our planes there. We still take our children there to study. We still have so many investments abroad. We steal money here. We take it there. They still use our money to do business.
I almost skipped it.
Yes.
So that's why I started with Pacta sunt servanda. You see, there is security of lives and property. There is business security. When somebody takes like $78 million out of a business in other jurisdictions, it can affect the whole economy. And in international trade, you don't just walk away. You insist on your pound of flesh without a drop of blood. Everything you deserve, so long as the Ogun State government, you say they didn't do anything. Somebody wrote to a lawyer, okay, they just put the only thing they've done there was the fence. Now the agreement was entered into in 2007, right? And then somebody got in 2016 and then cancelled it. That is 9 years later. What happened to cancelling the agreement before then, saying, look, you have not done anything. There are timelines. By so time, you would have done this. Was it because of a default on the part of government? So, look, when you talk in terms of security, that they are cheating us, it's still sentiment. The important thing here is you have to balance international trade against your national security. And international trade dictates that when you voluntarily sign an agreement, you must always honor it. It is the most honorable thing to do. That we are dishonorable where we come from does not mean the world should tolerate our attitude.
So we shouldn't.
Okay. Why is the prodigal Ogun State now.
Yes.
Crying foul.
Why are you using that kind of word?
Because that is what it is.
Yes.
Why is Ogun State crying foul where there's nothing for an error that you intentionally committed?
That's where your question comes in. You see, every infraction by anybody, no matter how highly placed, should be sanctioned. That somebody will come out and is now crying foul for his own acts of indiscretion.
There are lawyers in Ogun State. They were part of that cabinet.
Well,
there was a commissioner for justice who must have read through the agreement.
You have situations where there's a lawyer that even just walked out and said, I'm Attorney General, I'm not interested in this government again. It was in Ogun State. People should ask questions. Why did he do that at that time under the same person? If you have integrity.
Who was the lawyer?
I don't want to mention names.
You've not mentioned so many names on the show. Why?
Those are privileged information. I mean, by just reading, you will know when a lawyer, a senior lawyer, just walked out on the government and said, I'm not, he resigned, which is unusual. People don't resign, commissioners and all, they don't resign. So for a senior advocate to say, oh, I'm walking out of the government, or the unspoken part of it, many people know. The Chinese people mention names. The person that was mentioned, Secretary, is a lawyer. You understand? He's a senior lawyer too. So now, what I'm saying is, when we are balancing all these things, what happened to the internal mechanisms for correcting wrongs? Legal options open to the federal government, everybody. If there's a crime disclosed, if there's anything done by our own people, before we start attacking people who are doing all this, what of our people within who have opened us up to this ridicule? The PID or whatever you call it. Now, there were people mentioned, fingered, Nigerians, highly
conspired against Nigeria.
Who conspired against Nigeria. The only person they caught was the woman who just died mysteriously. And what did they say? $10,000. Was PID, was it a $10,000 matter? And the woman is dead. Nobody said, let's do an autopsy. Let's do all that. People get silenced.
So for this mess now, what is going to be the way out for Nigeria in particular? Because we cannot isolate Ogun State alone. Nigeria was also a party to the agreement.
Yeah. Well, Nigeria probably guaranteed. We haven't seen the agreement. Nigeria probably guaranteed. If they guaranteed, and if the presentation, because there's already an award. The only way the government, federal government, our jets can be released is if that award is eventually set aside. I think there was a move to set it aside, maybe in a New York court or something like Court of Appeal or something, and it was the move was rejected, allegedly. Now, if it is not set aside, it remains binding.
We have to pay.
We have to pay. So what will be left is, how does the... and look, the jets will be auctioned. There is no sentiment. They will be auctioned. I understand that the one that our president is using now was released as a mark of goodwill. Goodwill. Who knows what has happened? Maybe somebody has decided to pay. This kind of money, one Nigerian can even pay it. One blessed Nigerian can pay it to save all of us from this debacle, because it's a big shame on all of us. I mean, jokes apart.
Especially those from Ogun State.
Well, I don't want to talk about that.
Why do you have to say that?
I think it's our political opponent. Yes.
And that's the general comment.
Yes, that is it. It's a thing of shame.
Our political opponents at work.
That at work, they are doing this to us, honestly. So, yes, it's a big shame, and I hope we can wriggle out of this, but it is all the time. Why? Tupac Shakur said, why always me? Why always us? Why?
So for me, I say perhaps I should double back and just still take you back to, while international community know that this is how interesting we are, you come to do business still. Perhaps somebody from Nigeria come to me, don't worry. If this doesn't work, this one will work.
Yes.
It just put the clauses there. And maybe sometimes we don't even read some of the clauses we sign, even though it will go through the Ministry of Justice and all that, but we'll still sign it. But someone will come and say, look, don't worry, they will soon cancel it. They can even instigate some of these things. We've seen history has taught us that some of these things, some of these contracts are fraught with. So my own question is, we still have businesses with, I am sure the whole essence of having those jets in France was for servicing and not necessarily so that it can be used as collateral for the maladministration of Ogun State. We still have businesses abroad. We still do businesses with other, and it is genuine and forthright.
Yes.
So how come we are suffering the brunt of, and that's what you talked about, it is the legal word now.
Pacta sunt servanda.
Oh, pact. So the pact in most of So how does this affect business? Because sometimes you won't have any plane to hold. You just hold Nigerian people. Is there something Nigeria can do to not allow every time there's a child of yours has done something, and you use that name to hang it, to give it a bad name?
You will recall that this particular, before they even attached the jets, they attached some properties in Liverpool. I hope you are aware.
Yeah.
In UK.
So I mean, and all these planes taken together, the value is much more than the judgment sum, because what we are looking at is about $78 million.
Yeah.
So the one that our president is using, that they flew to France with, is allegedly about $100 million.
The new one.
The new one. So I mean, they've taken properties, real estate, somewhere in Liverpool, and they still came after the planes. You know, they did that because that will generate the kind of uproar, reaction. The whole world will know. I mean, it's the sentimental effect. You know, they wanted the whole world to know. It's to name and to shame. It's a deliberate attempt to shame Nigeria, to let everybody know. And there probably were undercurrents, things that happened that these Chinese people felt, okay, we will show you. Now the governor is talking. If this did not happen, we won't hear anything from him. And then we can look at similar facts. Oh, I want it. You know, that kind of a thing. So it's they've taken properties. Why do you come and attach federal government property again? You know, those properties too, they are federal, and nobody is talking about them. Maybe the properties are worth maybe 1 million, 3 million pounds. It's still not enough.
Maybe the jets are more significant.
No, they are definitely.
Presidential jets.
Why are we a presidential? Imagine taking Air Force One, American Air Force.
Who dares that?
Can you touch it? You understand? It can never happen. So
it's like ridiculing our president or our presidency.
Why always us? Why is it that even in Africa, there's a president, Equatorial Guinea, that is playing 2 or 6. Why always us? It's a big shame. We are so brilliant. Now, you say, oh, yes, we still have businesses and all that. They cannot stop doing business with us because Nigerians are good to do business with, either clean or dirty. Do you get what I'm saying? Nigerians are, and we are blessed. Everything in Nigeria is like gold, is business. Everything. You can walk this. I mean, this is your premises now. Outside, I coming in this morning, I saw business prospects all over the place, on the ground, everywhere. You understand? Some of the grasses you are seeing growing. Well, if the white man puts his phone, he will say this one can cure cancer. But we don't even know. We are sitting on a gold mine.
But is that why we are so porous, just like Joshua said, and people are taking advantage of us?
We are just selfish people. It's just about me and my children and 3 generations from me. We always think about what, after me, what my children and my children's children will eat, what they will live on. Some of these, I mean, I come from Abeokuta, and recently something happened, even in my family, where a section says, oh, in Abeokuta, or the western part of it, you have Agbole, and they said, somebody says, oh, I want to sell my own part of the homestead. Now, there was a video, it went viral, where they were saying in 100 years' time, you are watching this video, nobody will remember you. And I sat down and I did the calculation from my grandfather, everybody, and I saw that it's like about 120 years ago that they came into these premises. And now, if it is sold to an outsider, nobody will remember them. I will walk, everybody will walk away. That's the thing about Nigeria. people are amassing wealth that
in generations yet unborn.
Yes, that generation will not even remember them. They won't know who brought about this wealth. It's a crazy thing. So we have internal problems. Our problems are mainly internal. We don't punish people who, I mean, look, if it was a Chinese that this happened to, you know, his head is off. They're going to guillotine him. But we are still talking as if it's Nigerian court that will decide. No, the award is international. The man has given the award. He's impeccable, except you can show that the arbitrator was actuated by malice or some other thing. He
was biased.
He knew certain things that D1, PD, and ID, Nigerians were involved. Nobody is mentioning the names of Nigerians anymore. And we are saying, see, white people, they have done this as if the white people just came and did all these things themselves. We helped them. Nigerians gave evidence against Nigeria. Highly placed Nigerians. And we are not talking about it.
Okay. This thing just makes my tummy churn somehow. Thank you very much, Mr. Dario Lohide, lawyer and political affairs analyst, for helping us. Perhaps sometimes you just feel as if this thing doesn't really send any signal to anybody.
No.
Because I'm telling you, in the next 1 year, we'll still be back here.
Again.
It will happen again.
Something worse.
Something worse will happen again.
Sorry.
We have not learned from our mistakes oftentimes. Well, thank you very much. Well, in case you don't know, the president has a new jet now, even though 3 were seized. One was given back to us.
Yes.
Just say, we are good children. Can we take the 2?
When was it purchased? At what cost?
At taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Everything.
I thought Nigeria is broke.
Nigeria. We will take a short break. All the people resting from Lagos, I'm sure it is the Isheshe.
Are they resting?
They
are celebrating
Isheshe? Isheshe, that's why. If you see Bimpe, you know that she's ready.
How come they are not wearing white?
No, it doesn't necessarily need to be white.
It should be white too. Isheshe is white. Oh, Joshua, yes.
It can be red like
it can be red now.
But you have your beads. And all that.
Yes, Bimpe has beads on. So that's the thing. So
which one? On the neck or where?
What beads do I
on
have?
our leg. So
our leg.
we'll take Pepe will just watch out. Just
Islam. I'm not Isheshe.
Okay, it's not like Olumide.
It's not okay. So maybe it is Joy. Joy has a bead on. So
No,
we'll take a
I
short
don't.
break, and Lagos will take over, and the conversation continues from there. Don't go anywhere. Still the conversation.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.